In 2014, SAICA introduced the Top 35 Under 35 competition. Every year, SAICA recognizes young South African chartered accountants who are making an impact on the businesses they lead and who are proactively making decisions that positively shape communities, economies and society. The competition highlights the sustainability of the CA profession and the vital role these young individuals are playing in contributing to the future of South Africa. In the previous 2 episodes, 18 out of 35 finalists for this year's Top 35 Under 35 competition were introduced. In this episode, SAICA will reveal 9 more finalists who are making an impact on the businesses they lead and who are proactively making decisions that positively shape communities, economies and society. Top 35 Under 35 2020 overall winner Manuel Rodriguez is achieving success through compassion and positively impacting underprivileged communities in the province of Tete, Mozambique. His creativity, resilience, eye for opportunity and longing for impact on a community's quality of life are his driving forces.
So my journey since the competition and using a lot of the platforms and the networks that the competition has offered to me, we've actually seen quite a lot of growth in the Mozambican space in our little business there. So we've gone from doing 800,000 chickens per financial year to about 3.7 million in a financial year and still growing. So it's definitely the type of environment where, you know, the platform and the stage that the competition has given has been used, especially on the donor funding side, to get injections in to try and take the business up to the next level. My experience when when we had the interview period, so at that time, unfortunately, my focus wasn't really on the competition. We had some theft in Mozambique and I was up there for a month. All the other candidates picked their slots for their interview, and so by the time it came to the end, there were 2 slots left. Slot 1 on day 1 or the last slot on day 2. So I thought, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to set the benchmark and I'm going to go very first, be the very first one to go. But I arrived there on the day and I was like, I'm just going to tell you guys what it is that I do with my time. And it was a lot of fun. It was really a lot of fun. The process of pitching to the judges, that was quite interesting. There was a lot of questions where, you realize that you've processed these things and you have the answers in your head, but nobody's actually ever asked you. So it was just, I think, if the fact that I was so busy and distracted was actually a bit of a blessing, because it just kept everything calm, and it was just a casual chat between me and the judges. And then I landed up meeting a couple of the other candidates as well, and that was where there was some real value add. So one of the guys that I landed up sharing the green room with was one of the guys who do financing at RMB. So there's been some discussions around there, in terms of alternative financing for the project in Mozambique. So it was a really awesome networking opportunity.
Seasoned entrepreneur and CA with over 15 years of business experience, Andile Khumalo explains why he thinks the chartered accountant route is a career worthwhile considering.
If a young person had to ever come to me and ask me why should I be a chartered accountant, I think the first thing that happened to me is I think back about why I wanted to be a chartered accountant when I was young. And I think that those reasons still apply. If you are interested in business and you want to be part of business, whether it's locally here in South Africa or any part of the world, you want to get the qualification that business values. And of course, there's a lot of other qualifications, but there's no doubt in my mind that both locally and abroad, CASAs, chartered accountants that qualify in South Africa, are highly revered, highly respected and sought after. So if you want really good work opportunities, business opportunities, entrepreneurial opportunities that are all related to the world of business, and you want to get in there kind of in the best way you can in terms of qualifications, being a chartered accountant is a no-brainer. That's the thing that gets you that respect. All the way until today in my career, I would do things, I'd find myself in conversations, but if one person knows that I'm a chartered accountant, you can almost see how the conversation changes. So it really buys you or gives you that entry level that's very different to any other professional qualification in the world of business.
Introducing another 5 young CA professionals who are contributing to the future of South Africa's economy and who have been selected as finalists in SAICA's Top 35 Under 35 competition in 2022.
My name is Alexandra Watkins-Baker and I am the Chief Financial Officer of the International Mining and Dredging Group. What's one lesson that my job has taught me? That would definitely be always have a plan B. No matter how much you think plan A is bulletproof, it's going to work, it's perfect, you've always got to have a plan B and you've got to have a solid plan B. If I had to have coffee with any historical figure, who would it be and what would I ask them? It would definitely be the Queen, the late Queen, who's just passed. I think her story is so influential. From such a young age, she was a woman and a woman in a senior position with a lot of responsibility. She had to forego a lot in her life. She had a lot of sacrifices, but from what I've heard, because I've never met the woman, she's done really well in all the years that she has reigned as a queen, and I'd love to learn from her, ask her how she did it, what advice she'd give me as a woman in a leadership position.
I am Bongam Khiga. I'm the Investor Relations Manager at Old Mutual. It's been quite a journey to be included as part of the SAICA Top 35 Under 35 for 2022. It's an honor that I didn't quite expect, but it's been one that I think is going to open quite a number of doors for me, and it's something that I'm quite grateful for. The one lesson that my job has taught me that I think someone should learn through their lives is basically there's 2 things when it comes to communication. The first part is the message itself. And the second part is basically the messenger. And when I say messenger, I am talking in terms of the person who is delivering the message, but also all the things that come with that, basically the tone that you're using, the words that you've selected to communicate. So yeah, it's pretty much that. Don't only focus on the message, but focus on the whole, all-round delivery of that message. And that is a message on its own. If I could choose one historical figure to have coffee with, it would be the lady by the name of Rosa Parks. It goes back to the old American times in terms of the suppression of the African Americans as we know them now. But the one thing that strikes me about this lady, firstly, the fact that she was a lady. And for as long a time as I have known, women have always been looked down on in society. And she displayed a great deal of courage in that event, in that one bus ride, that one night, or that one day rather. And it is something that for me, I'm always asking myself, what drove her to stand up? And even when she explains the story, she says something like, I was actually not that courageous an individual up to that point, but something in her kicked in at that moment when she was being asked to move to the back, when she refused. And for me, that speaks to courage. And I'm always drawn to people that are very courageous. I don't know, there's something about it that just draws me towards it. And it's the one reason why I think of all the figures that I've pretty much heard about to this point is the one person that I would like to have coffee with. I'm not sure though whether I should have much time for coffee given the things that she was doing, but still I would like to have coffee with her.
My name is Lo Barnard. I'm a chartered accountant and one of the co-founders of Outsourced CFO. So our business venture has done a lot of things over the years that we didn't expect. I think maybe the biggest seismic shift has been with COVID, where all of a sudden we went fully remote. Just about in 24 hours, everything was moved remote. Almost 3 years later, our team has not gone back and our team is dispersed all over the country at the moment. And then also the client base just changed so much, where it used to be predominantly Cape Town-based companies, and right now we work with clients from 25 different countries around the world. So it's really opened up the world for us in a way, which we never expected. I would have never thought we would have clients in America, Australia, Hong Kong, different places in Europe, UK, tax havens, lots of places in Africa. So that's definitely the biggest surprise of the last couple of years. If I could have coffee with a historical figure, I think it would probably be John D. Rockefeller. I think to this day, he's the wealthiest business person ever to have lived in current terms. He also, the business principles that he created at that stage very, very many years ago are still used today. Like the 40 Rockefeller habits are still a very big part of scaling up methodology and still a very good framework for building a great company, even after so many decades worth of change. So I think he would be a fascinating guy to meet.
My name is Sarveshni Mudli. I'm a chartered accountant and I also have my Master's of Business Administration. I'm currently the Financial Director at Pharmag International, a chemical manufacturing company based in Durban, South Africa. My experience with failure is that it's best to learn from it. My motto to encounter failure is that with every lesson comes an experience, and with every loss there comes a gain. And that is the only way to deal with failure or disappointment. What occupation would I choose other than my own? Well, that's easy. The answer is a scientist. I've always had an affinity for science and for chemistry and physics, and I love to learn how things work. So being a scientist is something that I would definitely want to do.
I'm Johan Stein. I'm CFO and CRO at Bridgement, or that's at least my day job. I'm involved in a couple of other ventures that's not just in South Africa, but all around the world, and I'm very excited to be here. So coffee with an historical figure. Again, I think my answer to this is a bit unconventional, but it would definitely be Freddie Mercury from Queen. Just the way in which he performs and what he's achieved and the stage that he's taken on is really monumental, and I'd love to tap into that brain a little bit. An alternative occupation would definitely be engineer or maybe even builder. So my grandfather, when he came here from Germany years ago, was quite a well-known builder in Cape Town. He built those salt and pepper shakers, what they call them. And I've always been fascinated. I spent a lot of time with him in the tool shed, building things, building up even engines and hanging things on the wall and so forth. If I had to choose another career, that would certainly be builder or engineer.
Former top 35 under 35 finalists, now seasoned CAs, passionate about their industry, are motivating young professionals to consider chartered accountancy as a future profession.
So why motivate young CAs to enter this competition? I think firstly, it's a great opportunity to actually step back and do a bit of introspection of what's happened over the last 30, 35 years whenever you decide to enter. You know, the questions that they ask, it really makes you think long and hard about where you've come from and what you've done to date. And everyone has different stories, you know, and it's not to say that there's a better one, it's just, it gives you a great opportunity to really consider that. I think the more important thing in life for me, it's if you don't try, you don't know, and rather enter, give it a good go. The worst that can happen is you learn a whole lot about yourself, and if you do make it to the top 35, it's a phenomenal experience going through the process, meeting the judges and the other contestants, and actually opening yourself up to a network of alumni top 35s, and it's obviously a great thing to have in your CV. You know, it doesn't hurt to. Being a CA is fantastic. Being a top 35 and a 35 CA, I would say, is just that extra little notch to take you that much further in your career.
My tip to the 2022 finalists is very simple. Be yourself, have confidence, prepare well, and just enjoy the journey. At the event, and also when you meet the judges, here's my tip. Please smile and make them feel at ease, because the judges are also human beings. And by that, you will create like a two-way conversation. And lastly, make as many friends, take as many numbers, because you never know who you might meet in the future after the event.
Taking on the CA path, as much as it's a 7-year commitment, it yields a lifetime of opportunities. So for me, if I would advise young aspiring chartered accountants to take this route, it's to say what lies ahead of you after the 7 years is nothing compared to the 7 years that you have to sacrifice to become a chartered accountant. The CA top 35 under 35 actually shows that there's so many things you can do. There are different chartered accountants in different industries doing so many different things, and that's the beauty about the profession. It opens doors for you to anything you literally want to become.
Introducing 4 more young CA professionals contributing to the future of South Africa's economy and who have been selected as finalists in SAICA's Top 35 Under 35 competition in 2022.
My name is Lefa Mreketsi and I'm part of ABSA Investment Banking Division's M&A advisory team, and I'm a proud Top 35 Under 35 finalist. If I could have coffee with any historical figure, who would it be? As cliche as it may be, I would say Nelson Mandela, because I'd like to understand how did he keep his resilience in the face of tribulations and also continuing to spread the message of hope within a country such as South Africa and being resilient. Yeah. What is the one lesson that my job has taught me that I think that everybody should learn once in their life? It's to begin with the end in mind. I mean, we're in the business of providing an idea to our clients and actually following through up until we deliver that idea, bringing that possibility to life. So starting with the end in mind is always a good thing, because you create it in your mind, and from then on you actually see it in the physical.
My name is Josh Moritz. I am the Head of Operations and Finance at DocFox Africa, and I am a finalist of SAICA's 35 Under 35. If I could go back and give my 18-year-old self one piece of advice, it would probably be to not take life too seriously, and really just to seek as many mentors as you can. And that's going to be really the route to how you grow and how you learn. How would my parents describe what I do? That is a very interesting question. I think my mom would definitely not have a clue what I do. She thinks I work at a tech company, and I think that just probably means that I work in IT and work on Excel occasionally, but honestly, not the slightest clue.
I'm a lecturer as well as the MD and co-founder of Endonamu. My specialty is accounting and management accounting. I love what I do, and I love just that, what do you call it? The magic that comes when the students really get to love also what I get to teach them. If I could be remembered for something, I would like to be remembered for pursuit of excellence. What we do at Endonamu is quite amazing, and I think the biggest drive of it has always been that constant drive to pursue excellence and just make sure that when it comes to delivering our program, we are always on top of our game, as well as delivering just an exceptional candidate experience. So that is something that I would really like to be remembered for, pursuit of excellence.
I'm Sean Penderis, a chartered accountant that lives in Windhoek, Namibia. Myself and my brother have a accounting outsourcing firm called Acorn Finance. We provide accounting, tax and consulting services. We've also recently co-founded a fintech startup called Linkwise, which is a payroll deduction management platform that's currently used by some of Namibia's largest banks and insurance companies. My biggest failure would have to be sports calendar sync. Fresh out of university in 2012, I realized that I was spending a lot of time punching in various sporting events fixtures into my calendar. So I decided that there should be a mobile application that can do this for you automatically. And when I found out that there wasn't, I found a freelance developer that could build a mobile application for me quite cheaply. And it went fantastically. We built an app that worked, but the one big mistake was it was built for BlackBerries only. And I think within a year or two of building the app, even though it was working, no one was really using BlackBerries anymore, and so it ended up ceasing to exist. The biggest thing I learned about that is when I look back on that experience, I cherish it, and it was one of the more memorable moments of my life. So failure can sometimes, be an enjoyable experience and something you look back on fondly. So don't be afraid of failing, because even if you don't learn anything specific about it, failing itself can still, bring about a good memory.
Gerinde Engelbrecht, who is SAICA's project director for digital content and publishing, is also the mastermind behind the Top 35 Under 35 competition. She explains the value sponsors bring to this annual competition.
To host such a competition year after year is not possible without the help of partners. And I don't like to call them our sponsors, because some of our sponsors, or partners as we like to call them, has been with us since year one. And to commit to something for 9 years is quite an achievement. And that is why we are so proud and very grateful for our sponsors and partners that's been with us and that makes this possible. And year after year, we're able to grow it a little bit more, or to do something like this and introduce it to a wider audience now because of the help we get from them.
Another proud judge and partner is Jennifer Mpo Lebete, an entrepreneur who is passionate about women empowerment, youth development, and building sustainable and impactful businesses.
Where we would love to see the profession grow is to see more and more chartered accountants who are women coming through the pipeline. So we have lots of men in the fold, and that's amazing. We love the guys. However, we'd love to see a lot more women coming through. And I think we'll start to see, when that happens, we'll start to see more women in leadership. We'll start to see more women become senior managers and audit partners, and more women start their own businesses and apply for Top 35 Under 35 and actually win. And so if there is anything I can leave with all of you, is to encourage all of our women out there to take a stab at it. Take your shot, apply for the profession, apply and go through the university degree, apply to be part of the SAICA profession as well, and then also apply for Top 35 Under 35.
With over 12 years of experience in the accounting profession, proud Top 35 Under 35 judge and partner Colin Timmis is passionate about driving the accounting industry forward and equipping South Africa's SMEs with the digital tools they need to thrive.
So we have an amazing pool of talent available in South Africa. One of the things that I'm fortunate to do is work with accountants, small business owners and entrepreneurs around the world, in Australia, New Zealand, Asia, the US and the UK, and it's constantly referred to as being a massive pool of talent here in South Africa, and being able to showcase that talent is something we should be really proud of, and we should definitely support and continue to build and invest in, as we are doing with this SAICA Top 35 Under 35. And it's really an opportunity for the individuals who are in the program to think about how they can extend that brand and that perception of talent that is available. How do we really make ourselves known, not just here in South Africa, because that's ultimately not the game. We have to think globally, we have to think bigger, and so how do we elevate our thinking to elevating our skill sets to serve the needs of people that are in other countries, not just here in South Africa.
Werner Bosman is the Chief Executive Officer of PPS Short-Term Insurance. He also serves on the PPS Mutual Board in Australia and is the executive responsible for the Innovation Strategic Initiative at PPS. Werner is a proud judge and partner for the 2022 Top 35 Under 35 competition.
Personally, I'm very excited to be part of the Top 35 Under 35 initiative. It's so exciting to celebrate this group of exceptional young CAs and the impact that they are making in their careers and in the community. PPS is a proud sponsor of this initiative. You can only become a member of PPS if you're a graduate professional, and chartered accountants is one of the key professions that are allowed into this exclusive pool. What makes us unique is that all profits from the PPS group is shared with members that have qualifying products. Join us in celebrating this group of exceptional CAs.
These young South African chartered accountants showcase their light-hearted side in this Top 35 Under 35 competition.
If I have to eat one meal for the rest of my life, that would be ribs and chips. I love my ribs, pork ribs too, for that matter. So yeah, that would be it.
If I had to eat one meal for the rest of my life, it would definitely have to be a fillet steak with mushroom sauce and cream spinach on the side. I can eat that every single day.
So if I could eat one meal for the rest of my life, it would be at a restaurant called Tony Chocolonely. And so I was in the Netherlands a couple of weeks ago, and I stumbled across the shop called Tony Chocolonely. And so what they do is they make hamburgers and all kinds of things out of chocolate. It would most certainly be a Tony Chocolonely for the rest of my life. I'm not so sure how healthy that would be, but at least if it was a short-term answer, that's my answer.
If I had to eat one meal for the rest of my life, it would definitely be avocados. They are superfood. They taste amazing on their own, but also they work well with other foods, whether it's sweet or whether it's savory.
What do I sing in the shower? It's a good question. I am a big fan of Broadway, so it wouldn't be uncommon to catch me singing some of the Hamilton soundtrack from time to time. But I can assure you, you will not be hearing any rendition right now.
When I'm in the shower, at this particular point, I'm singing songs that are themed along the lines of grateful or being grateful or having gratitude. So I'm listening to a song by Joyous Celebration. It's called I Am Grateful. Grateful, I'm grateful, grateful, I'm grateful.
What do I sing in the shower? Normally worship music like Maverick City, Promises, and Kingdom. Great is your faithfulness to me. Great.
What do I sing in the shower? So I don't often sing in the shower, but if I were to sing in the shower, it would definitely be the latest CoComelon soundtrack. I have a 2.5-year-old boy, and he listens to a little bit of screen time, CoComelon. So whatever the soundtrack of the day was, that will probably be what's going through my head at that stage of the fight. That will probably be what I end up singing.
So my biggest pet peeve is hearing chewing noises while people are eating. And I actually Googled it in preparation for this and found out that it's a legitimate disorder with a name. So perhaps I should actually look into that after this.
Named by Fast Company magazine as one of the top 100 creative people in business, Fred Rudd is also a top 35 under 35 judge and partner. He is the founder and CEO of Heavy Chef, a learning platform for entrepreneurs.
You know, within the set of finalists, we've got some of the most innovative, creative, and impressive, dynamic individuals in the country at the moment. And these, again, I mean, these are the individuals that are going to push our businesses, push our small to medium enterprises to greater successes. And if you can add that magic, that flair, I think it's just a brilliant thing.
And what inspires me is seeing these individuals that's coming through now, chartered accountants who are involved in technology, digitization, coming up with new apps that make lives easier. And it's that molding of the chartered accounting qualification with all the technical skills, together with technology and partnering up with different business people to make their ideas come alive. And then that idea rolls out and makes a difference to the lives that they are meant to touch. That gives me goosebumps. It literally makes me inspired to be a chartered accountant myself, knowing that a person can take their qualification and add a few more layers to it and make such a difference to the lives of people that they work with.
I guess that's the part of this initiative, the Top 35, and what it does is it really elevates our youth, the youth within the sector, within the accounting sector, to prominence, and showing what some fresh energy can bring to our economy as a whole.
SAICA extends its appreciation to the partners who recognize the value of the Top 35 Under 35 competition. In the next episode, we introduce you to another cohort of Top 35 Under 35 competition finalists who see things differently and who are constantly changing convention. The Top 35 Under 35 is a competition that celebrates people who always strive to stand out from the crowd, be exceptional and push themselves in pursuit of excellence.